So this is the part where all of us are different in personality, right? Again, little tips here and there, little education, and my experience as a trader. Every one of us are different. Okay, so some of us are a little bit more what we call objective in terms of personality. Some of us are a little bit more subjective, okay? Or the better word to that is called discretionary. So what it really means is this, okay? Think of it as today if you are engineering trained background, okay? Which means maybe you study engineering, or your work relates to engineering or similar kind of industry, okay? Where everything is precise and it's more like yes and no, right? Or what we call binary. It's either 1 or 0, 1 or 0, right? So if you study like computer coding, it's also similar in terms of that kind of mentality. If you are falling into that kind of category, we call it objective method of trading. Okay? So if you're someone who prefer that kind, when you develop your strategy, you need to also have those in mind when you're developing and planning your strategy or your trade plan. Okay, I'll share with you a little bit like what are some of the elements to take note of as we progress today. But let me discuss the other portion first, right? So let me write this down as well, right? So you have the objective kind of trader. Okay, then you also have what we call the discretionary trader. Okay, so discretionary trader is someone who is a little bit more comfortable with things like artistic, right? Literature. There's no such thing as like what's right or wrong, right? But basically it's like what's your point of view, right? So usually you like to discuss and things like that. So those are the mindset of a discretionary trader. Okay, and today if you talk about price action or candlestick pattern, it's a little bit more discretionary, right? Because it's not like straightforward. It's not like 1 or 0. Okay? It's not like 1 + 1 = 2. It can be like, hey, this looks like this, but at the same time it looks something else, right? So that's what we call discretionary. Now today, when I share with you this, I want you to be aware. You need to position yourself in understanding, are you more aligned towards objective, or are you more aligned towards discretionary? It's not, it's not like one or the other. It's more like a scale. Okay, so if you think of it like this side of it is objective, okay, the other side of it is discretionary. Okay? It's a scale, right? So maybe here is like one end of the spectrum towards the other end, and then this is like the middle point. You need to be aware and identify for yourself, which scale are you at? Okay, are you nearer towards the extreme of objective of or maybe here, or are you maybe like somewhere here? Okay. Now, why is this important? Because when you study strategies, when you study, the method to analyze and trade the market, you need to be aware where you are as an individual, so that when you develop that trade plan, it fits into your style, right? So I give you an example where things are not fitted to you as an individual. Okay, so let's say you are someone who is super objective. Okay, so you are like 1 + 1 = 2, and I want to know the answer. This and this should be this. Okay, usually that's very, very objective. So if today I share with you a strategy that is discretionary, like look at price action when you see a pin bar, okay, that's a rejection pattern. Then you will be like, but what exactly is a pin bar? Then I tell you, this is a pin bar. Okay, then I tell you, this one here looks also like a pin bar, but then if you're super objective, right, what will you be thinking? You'll be like, but this and this looks different. What exactly is a pin bar? So you'll be struggling on that. Okay, so I hope you can see, right, why is it important to identify yourself at this spectrum. Now, why today I want to talk about this is because every strategy and method eventually will have a combination of a little bit of discretionary element as well as objective element. Okay, that's where the fine-tuning of strategy to fit into your personality is super important. Okay, so give you an example. Okay, now if I say this is a double bottom formation, there is the technicality of being very objective, which means that you need to then define, right, what exactly is the double bottom. So maybe it's more like you have the first bottom and the second bottom over here. The price cannot close below this bottom, right? So objectively, you are defining what's a double bottom. Okay. To someone who is discretionary, you don't need all those definitions. You just say, this looks double bottom. It's a double bottom. Okay. So I hope you can understand that. Okay. And as you progress as a trader today, I would strongly encourage, to look back into your strategy, look back into your trade plan. Do you have any elements that fits into your personality, or any elements that does not really fit into your style? Okay, so that's the idea of it. Okay, and if today you look at this, right, and when I say, okay, this is a double bottom formation and we have this very strong impulse push. So this is again a discretionary element, because what is an impulse? Impulse is being defined as a move that has strong momentum. So I'm a very visual person, right? So this looks very obvious to me that the market bounced off very strongly. This down move looks very obvious to me that it's coming down very fast. Okay, so this is an impulse move to me. This here is also an impulse move to me. But that's where the discretionary comes in. Okay, so if today you're very objective, you'll be asking, but how exactly do I know if that's a strong move? Okay, and that's where you need to add in elements of defining it. Okay, maybe you want to define it by, the bar, the body of the candle needs to be huge and things like that. Okay, so I won't go into details of that because everyone is different, but I want to share with you an example of same thing when we talk about impulse move. Depending on where you are as an individual, you need to fine-tune that to fit into your style. Okay, so I hope so far you guys are following me, right? And this is important because it really boils down and drill down into constructing your own trading plan.